essentially you're a leader, and you should be a leader. If you want to take charge of yourself, your being, you have to lead in your life.
Yep.
And so that's important. So number one thing is obviously all the qualities that you look for in a leader, from integrity to honesty to, we can get to the nitty gritty of all that stuff, but that's basically what you're looking at in a modern day samurai. And when we say it, it's because you got to see life. Dana White says it best. He sees life as a fight every single day. He's fighting every single day, right? He's in the fight business, but he sees life from the moment you get out of bed. He goes, somebody is waiting to kick the door down on your face or put a boot to your face. Somebody's looking to yell at you, cut you off in traffic. Someone's, trying to reject you or do whatever, or trying to grab at your money. You know what I mean?
Trying to leverage you,
trying to get one up on you, trying to sell you. Yeah. You have to fight through that bullshit. And that is what a modern day samurai does.
It doesn't matter how hard you work today, that tomorrow you may have to work fucking harder.
Yeah. That set the tone for her career.
And no matter what, you are not done.
Yes. Yeah. That
because
set the tone
that
for
was
her
just
career.
today. There's still tomorrow.
Yes.
And tomorrow you might have to dig fucking 10 times deeper because another challenge is coming your way.
Are you looking to take control of your life, your being, physically, mentally, emotionally, your job, everything? If so, you want to listen to us today.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Carlo Balagase.
I'm Christian Alvarez, and you're listening to Behind the Strength, where we improve your health, wealth, and peace of mind. Welcome back to the show. We'd like to thank everybody who has subscribed and who have posted and gave us some good feedback and, some topics to work with. This is amazing. We thank you very much for listening and,
Yeah, thank you for hitting us up on any social media. Thanks for telling us that you like the podcast, that it actually gave you some value in your life, and I'm excited to hear that some people are actually using it for the betterment of their life. And man, that's awesome, man. It's definitely we're grateful to be able to serve in that way.
Right. A member actually came up to me last week and thanked me for one of our podcasts, and he took action into one of the things we were talking about in business, and he applied it to his own business. And he goes, "Hey, man, to sell this much, the content of what he sells, to sell this much in a month is crazy. I sold it in 1 week after applying your techniques."
Hey, which one? First of all, that's awesome.
The volume, right?
Yeah,
so the volume is just like, in my industry, to sell this volume in a month is crazy, but to sell it 1 week, because I was diligent about the techniques that I applied, right?
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So today you're going to get a lot of helpful stuff for you if you want to take charge of every aspect. And I'm sure the person that's listening to us wants to take charge and wants to actually execute and wants to actually change their lives. Today we're going to talk about the way of the samurai. And the reason why we use this as a topic is because, we're very into martial arts, deep background in martial arts there Carlo has, and we take a lot from a warrior. So it's not so much just, the samurai itself, but it's for the warrior. And we're talking about your modern day warrior, the one that has to combat life. You're combating through the stresses of every day. Mm-hmm. You're combating, all the illnesses and sicknesses out there. You're trying to keep your body healthy. You're trying to look physically well, and you're trying to be emotionally happy.
And one thing for me, and an important one for me, is battling your integrity based on the social norms or social media norms that are happening today.
Yes.
One big thing for you and I that we had to kind of battle is like, the mindset of do I like talking about myself? Do I like showcasing my life? Do I like showcasing my successes and wins all the time on social media? I don't like posting about myself. I don't like posting about my life and what I'm doing. I just like my life to speak for itself.
Yes.
And, the martial artists in both of us, we're taught to execute perfectly, but try as hard as you can, a million times to get to that perfect execution without fucking talking.
Well, because a lot of the times, like those reps they're like failure reps. They're not going to be done well. They're not going to be executed very smoothly. They're going to look pretty choppy. But as you get to that 1,000th one, it starts to look better. Mm-hmm. It's every which way business is very similar to it. or the workings of a great relationship. Somebody that's been together, people have been together for 25 years. They had to work on that.
Yeah.
Because believe me, their conversations were not always smooth and transitional like that, where you can, take a bad situation and find a sense and humor in it. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
In business, we had to try over and over again, maybe upset a few clients, customers. We had to do this and that, and as well as mend those relationships to get it right. And only now we're still, even till now, we're 8 years later, we're still improving those things. The experience, the classes, right?
Yeah, the really navigating through all the chaos that trying to improve yourself and trying to improve your life comes with.
Yes.
And that's why it is very important to understand the way of the samurai, because what is the way of a modern day samurai, Christian?
Well, are you talking about the battles that they confront, or are you talking about
What are the characteristics, I guess, or why is it important these days to
It's important because essentially you're a leader, and you should be a leader. If you want to take charge of yourself, your being, you have to lead in your life.
Yep.
And so that's important. So number one thing is obviously all the qualities that you look for in a leader, from integrity to honesty we can get to the nitty gritty of all that stuff, but that's basically what you're looking at in a modern day samurai. And when we say it, it's because you got to see life. Dana White says it best. He sees life as a fight every single day. He's fighting every single day, right? He's in the fight business, but he sees life from the moment you get out of bed. He goes, somebody is waiting to kick the door down on your face or put a boot to your face. Somebody's looking to yell at you, cut you off in traffic. Someone's, trying to reject you or do whatever, or trying to grab at your money. You know what I mean?
Trying to leverage you,
trying to get one up on you, trying to sell you. Yeah. You have to fight through that bullshit. And that is what a modern day samurai does. They got to fight through that bullshit. At the end of each day, they can say, you know what, I won today because I made it through all that crap. And I became better today. And I sharpened my sword today without the use of it. I sharpened it. I sharpened my tools. It came at me. I problem solved. That's what we're talking about today, right? And it could be somebody in a physical space of sports, and let's just say, dominating your space when there's so many people clawing at you. It could be an entrepreneur who everybody's trying to get at your money. Yeah. From your vendors to your staff to your people to your landlords. It could be somebody who is just who has a newborn child, and they haven't slept in about 3 months, right? Like,
or a person who's trying to lose weight. 100 pounds, 20 pounds,
yeah,
10 pounds.
And that road seems long, and it is friggin' long.
Yeah, especially
and
the
you're
first
fighting
week.
through that. Yeah.
I remember when I was doing Muay Thai first ever, because I was 200 pounds of muscle, even getting into condition the first week, man, the first session, your body's done.
Well, how heavy were your shoulders and your arms, right? After when they hit, 3-minute rounds of just shadow box. Just shadow. You don't have gloves. Just raise your arms up for like this for 3 minutes. And start swinging.
Yeah, warm up.
Yeah, warm up.
Guys, keep your shoulder. I couldn't keep my arms up for fucking 1 minute, bro.
And you're like, I'm fit. Oh, and I'm like, not this type of fit.
And then you halfway through, I'm like, oh my god, my chest is
you feel like
my chest is gonna explode. Yeah. Like I was literally like, I'm gonna die. I can't stop because nobody else is stopping. I think I'm just gonna pass out here. Yeah. But then the next, when you go to bed, first of all, when you touch your pillow, you're done. You're out. Then the next morning is the worst, because you wake up, you're like, this wave of pain just comes over you, and you're just like, I could sleep for 30 days straight right now. Yeah. I can't move. I'm hungry, but I can't get up. And guess what? You got to do it the next day.
Exact
same thing the next day, even
harder.
Up, because the first
body weight squats.
Yeah, the first day was an introduction.
Yes.
The second day was an introduction number 2, and then you start getting better and more intense.
So for those of you who are in the fitness and I guess, health world, you guys understand obviously recovery. Martial arts and old day martial arts, even modern day martial arts, doesn't take recovery into account. You're doing this stuff 6-7 days a week at no rest, and you're doing it for 2-3 hours at a time minimum.
There was this one podcast. I wish I forgot her name, from Tony Robbins. It was actually recent. This world triathlete or something like that. Anyway, she was talking about when she first started, like in in school. She never did it before. So in school, she was like, you know, kind of chubby or whatever. She didn't really do much. And she got introduced to this whole notion of triathlon. And she remembers like, you know what, I could get into this. So she went to this training thing for like high level, whatever, triathletes. They weren't world class.
Oh, I remember this podcast.
And she said she remembers that it was the first day. It was the most grueling thing she's ever been through in her life. She thought she was going to die. It was literally like, was it 8 hours of training?
And 8 hours of training.
Day,
and this is for triathletes.
For triathletes. And she remembers coming home. She was like, you know, broken and stuff like that. And the next day,
she gets to bang on the
door.
And they're like, hey, you ready?
Like,
yeah, it's like 5 a.m. Let's go.
You ready to do it again?
Yeah.
And even more?
And even harder.
And she's like, that gave me the understanding that, you know, it doesn't matter how hard you work today, that tomorrow you may have to work fucking harder.
Yeah. That set the tone for her career.
And no matter what, you are not done.
Yes. Yeah. That's
because that was just career. Today. There's still tomorrow.
Yes.
And tomorrow you might have to dig fucking 10 times deeper because another challenge is coming your way.
And that's the thing. So, you know, like just that alone, guys and girls, the biggest thing you're gonna have to deal with, whether it's a physical thing you're after, whether it's a monetary thing you're after, and anything that you make yourself a goal. And we're not talking about some cheap little dream you got, a goal, and you're you know, dead set on achieving this goal. You have to be able to mentally go through, right, the paces. First of all, you have to foresee the kinds of stresses and problems that are going to come through, because they're going to come, and you're going to have to learn how to mentally deal with these things.
Well, samurai is a master of the mind.
Exactly.
Right? Master of the body, master of the soul, master of the mind.
Yes.
Master in discipline.
Yes.
Master in knowing when to keep peace and knowing when to really, you know, make the kill.
Engage in war. Yeah.
Engage in war. Strategically,
with
and minimal casualty.
Yes, and not acting it with emotion.
Yes.
So for those of you people who like to lash out and whatever, when you're challenged in some sort in any way, we're not talking about physical challenge. When you're challenged, when you're mentally challenged, and you tend to lash out on people, then a lot of that is a lack of mental strength, right? Because you're literally using insecurity as a defense mechanism. Right, it's a lack of,
right?
Yeah.
Like we always say, you know, an amateur boxer who's caught in the ropes is just gonna cower up, panic, either swing for the fences or cower down and fall. But what does the seasoned boxer do? They work. They know what
I'm here.
I move and pivot and move around circle.
Now
he's in the corner. He's in the corner, but a logical, you know, calm boxer needs to be able to do that.
Yes.
Right. That's the only way to be able to.
Well, that's the thing. It's in the moment of adversity, you have to keep a calm breath, being in control. Yoga teaches this practice. Martial arts teaches your practice. Number one thing, it's your emotions. Anybody that follows Tony Robbins knows it's the lack of control in your breath. So we see it all the time in class. First timer, they go in there. I work out. They go into body blitz, which is our conditioning class. They go all out during warm up. Within 8 minutes, 6 minutes, and they feel like their chest is gonna pop. Again, the same thing. Oh my God, I'm gonna puke. Oh my God, I'm like dizzy now.
Yeah.
And already, because they've lacked the control of their breathing, their emotions start to become, now what? It's like a feeling of suffocation.
Yeah.
You're drowning. Somebody's doing this to you. So that feeling comes on very, very fast, and usually comes up with a very high heart rate. You know, anywhere from the 175 plus, you're already doing that. So when you're at a panic state, you're not thinking. You are not in control mentally. You're definitely not in control emotionally. And the last thing you should be doing is exerting every bit of your energy into that state.
Yes.
You have to learn how to identify that state first and foremost before it even comes up.
That's one of the biggest lessons that we learned, especially when I was in judo, that you have to control your emotion. Every time I displayed any sort of frustration or anger, my teacher, my sensei, old Japanese dudes, two of them, one of the last ones in Toronto, the Toronto area, they would have a stick. At any time you did it, they would make an old Japanese grunt and kind of whack you. I mean, this was back in the day. So and my dad was like all for it because he was in judo as well. And he's like, hey man, that's all you, son. Don't look at me.
Yeah, I'm not that here. I'm going through my paces too.
I get it too. You know what I mean? I can't. You know, show anger and frustration. You have to stay calm, right? Take it. You know, I didn't think that was abuse for me and my brother. Like it was needed,
Yeah.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. So it was one of those things where you start getting disciplined in that way, to not to use emotion in a strategic way
In a
rather
strategic
than
way,
in
yes.
a wild, you know, stupid, careless manner. Because
Yes.
emotion, strategic emotion, when used, could be the most powerful thing.
It's very powerful. It's passion coming out of you.
Yeah,
Like
right?
literally the some of the best performances we've seen in the world, whether it be through sports or business or any action like that, some of the greatest moments have been emotion, controlled emotion coming out of a person.
Yes, just like a
That's
ki. A
yeah.
ki is controlled
Yeah.
emotion. When
Breath,
when
yeah.
you like you
Yeah,
let that
that's
emotion
full out,
that,
yeah.
that potential energy out.
Yeah, that's full out.
when you do it.
Yeah.
Right, but not when someone sweeps you and you fall and you get pissed off about it.
Yeah.
No, right? That's
Yeah.
stopping the flow of energy too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. So a big thing with approaching your everyday problems is, you're going to get times at work and you're frustrated and it seems like everybody's coming to you with this and that and this. The last thing that you should be doing at that point in time is getting frustrated and start and feeling towards ways about people, right? You need to itemize. You need to actually just step back for a second and regain control of your emotional state.
Yeah.
Because you're not like, you know what it is. It's, 1:00 in the afternoon, 2:00 in the afternoon. You're set to leave at 5:00. There's no way you're going to get all this stuff done. But you know what? If you prioritize a bit, and if you set a few for tomorrow, maybe you got to stay for an extra half hour. But the way you feel and you've changed that, now you can actually organize yourself to be able to complete your work or whatever it may be, right? Like you can actually execute. And it's not just at work, that's in anything. Somebody that's working their 3-point shooting and they miss more than they actually make, well, it's going to be that same frustrating thing.
Yeah.
Right? And for you to just keep beating at it would be pretty stupid, but to solve, okay, why do I keep missing? Is it my angle? Is it going too strong? It's actually looking at the thing as a whole, like we were talking about, and being like, okay, so what is the problem here?
So another thing to add to that is, how we, keep shooting and stuff like that is the ability to be okay alone for a bit.
Yes.
To practice in isolation sometimes.
A good friend of ours who passed away years ago, Master Steve, said for years, Grandmaster Chung used to, and he is a godfather of Wing Chun,
Yeah.
which is an art that Bruce Lee took as well, and created on his own.
Was he the one who taught Bruce Lee?
He
Or
taught
who
Bruce
worked
Lee.
with Bruce Lee?
He taught Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
No, sorry, Ip Man taught Bruce
Ip Man.
Lee,
Oh, Ip Man taught Bruce Lee.
and Ip Man taught him too.
Wow.
Grandmaster Chung. So they worked hand
Like
in hand.
Ip Man, like the movie.
Yeah, like real Ip Man. Yeah, that's
No
a real
way.
guy. That's a real guy.
Damn.
But it's not Donnie Wong or
I was
whatever.
gonna
No,
say,
no.
like
It's
Donnie
like,
Wong?
oh my god, we could have had a chance to meet that guy. No, no.
So like the story of Ip Man is a real.
It's real.
Person.
It's very real. And
Crazy.
there was Grandmaster Chung.
Yeah. Wasn't it a woman who
Created
created
it. Yeah.
Who created Wing
Yeah.
Chun?
Yeah. It was a nun.
Yo, if you're female, Wing Chun,
Wing
straight
Chun.
up.
But-
Wing Chun and judo and jujitsu.
Judo. Yeah.
Yo, those things, if you get that,
Nobody's
on your
gonna
belt,
grab your wrist.
No
You're
one's
gonna
gonna
pow,
yo.
and just pop their. Oh man.
Straight
You're
up,
gonna be excited.
If you're a woman listening to this, if there's any martial art that you ever want to get into, it's one of those.
One of those
or all
three.
three.
Or
if
all
you can.
three.
Because it's so like you have leverage. It doesn't matter if you're
How big,
size.
yeah.
You know what I mean? You have leverage.
You actually use size against
based on
them.
the strategy of your size.
Yeah.
So there's a certain specific strategy that you could implement on a bigger person because of your
Yes.
size. That your
Yes.
size is actually a strength.
And you know what? Since you actually went there, a big thing of that is, like, every day you're gonna feel like everything's bigger than you. Your problems are bigger than you.
Yes.
So that's a massive thing. It's seeing the giant. Because you've talked about it in this podcast before. It's like, I don't care if you're 50 pounds bigger than me, dude. That's cool.
Never.
You're gonna gas out in like 30 seconds. The moment you're done rushing me as a bull, you're gonna be gassed out. And so the same way in life, you're gonna see all these problems in a day, right? At work, this, that, the other's coming down on you, your boss coming down at you. They're asking for this deadline. And your problems are always going to seem bigger than you are. But until you take each one for what it is and you say, okay, I'm dealing with this right now, right? I'm not fighting every single thing. I'm going to fight the battle that I can right now, the best I can right now. If you start to focus on that, those big problems ain't going to be so small. Because how do you break a big guy down? Okay, well, what's his strength? What's my strength? And what's his weakness?
Yeah.
Right?
See, the difference between a novice person and, like, say, a black belt or a master is the master's ability to guide an opponent and make that person have a misstep, throw themselves pretty much.
Yeah.
It's really the guidance of someone to set themselves up to fall, right? Or to get, slayed.
Yes.
The worst case scenario, the worst possible thing you could do to a big person, for example, is to fight strength with strength.
Yes.
Right? It's to guide them, use their ego and strength and whatever their energy
Masochism.
and guide them into direction that they don't realize that, that one little step forward with the weight, 10% more forward than they should.
Yes.
My little foot stepped in front of yours and my left hand pulling you will destroy you.
Yeah, and you just literally flop down. Yeah.
And that's how I see life in general, is this strategic. I only need those small 1 or 2 moves to take down a big person or take down a big problem, but you got to break that problem down and see where that problem, that little wedge could land, so you can make that big fall and to kind of win, right?
If you guys have ever seen like any of those old like movies, or if you see a very high level martial artist ever execute something, it's very smooth.
Yes.
It's effortless, but it's so effortless because they've only drilled it 100,000 times.
Yes.
And made mistakes and mistakes and mistakes. And that's literally what it's like to go through life, because you're going to constantly listen. There's something that I actually heard about, like not long ago on one of the audiobooks. And it said, you're only going to keep facing the same problems for as long as you have not found the solution to it yet. Mm-hmm. It's going to keep coming at you and presenting itself, because there's a lot of people a lot of people that I know we've personally separated from over the last how many years, because the same problems in life keep presenting themselves to them. Why? Because they refuse to address it, and they refuse to even say, hey, listen, I'm going to actually do something about this. Yet they blame life and they blame others around them. Oh, this always happens to me. Yeah. Oh, this always happens to me. It always happens to you because you have yet to find the solution to it. Yeah. Until you get that through your thick brain and actually execute that, then it's always going to present to you. Yeah. Right? So, I mean, just remember that when you're going through your day and you're like, fuck, man, this always happens to me, you're causing that.
Yes. Really attacking all the shit that's coming at you and not running away from it or not shoving it aside, because, at the end of the day, you want to go to sleep as much as possible without like something heavy, a burden on your shoulders, right? So it's your ability to kind of look at a problem and attack it and not to run away from it, and seeing the growth that comes from attacking those problems and not pushing it away and not feeling like a victim about it.
Well, here's the thing. Like a lot of those problems and stuff should point out, if you were to assess yourself, actually step back, a lot of those problems are going to point out weak points of yourself. Weak areas, weak points. That's fine. Because after that, you can address those weak points and say, how do I strengthen that part of me so that these problems don't keep coming up the same? I've overcome that hurdle.
Well, which comes back to the whole samurai thing, right? The ability to have multiple tools and to use it based on the events in front of you, right? What they have, they're well skilled in, hand-to-hand combat, in swords, right? And even like what's it called? The horse, like where they're on like horses and they had that bow and arrow.
Yeah.
I want to try that, by the way.
Listen,
that shit's cool.
But
like having an arsenal of tools to be able to fight any battle whenever it comes up.
But if you look at the evolution of fitness right now, think about this. Back when we were in high school, everyone's ideal is I'm gonna box. I'm gonna go high vert.
I remember that. That was like,
and you know what they did to increase vertical, so to speak. I'm gonna increase my vert. They just kept jumping on the same box every day.
Yeah.
They kept doing calf raises without looking of how many other ways can I develop my body so that once I do come back to this vertical jump, I'm actually gonna smash that thing. But instead, they do the same thing because very closed-minded people will do the same thing. I'm just going to keep jumping. Oh, no, I'm going to keep failing every single day. So, practice doesn't mean shit unless it's perfect practice of the right solution.
Yes.
So don't go around thinking that you're going to solve this problem of I can't get this vertical jump, but I'm just going to keep jumping away at it. You're not going to get there.
Yeah.
You're not going to get to where you want to be with the knowledge or level of person that you are now. Think about that one. You're not going to get to where you want to be in life optimally with the level of development and personality that you have right now. Unless you develop that part of yourself and constantly grow, you're not going to meet the standards that you really want to meet.
But I think people are being fed some different shit though, man. Sometimes, like I've been hearing a lot of, which holds some weight in, a little bit, but You know, a lot of people saying, you know, don't worry about your weaknesses, just develop your strengths.
Right?
You know that
Yeah.
that notion. What do you think about that?
What do I think about that? I think it's a crock of shit.
Really?
Because you're only going to be as good as your biggest weakness.
Yeah, you know, if you only have a right hand in basketball,
You're only going to be as good. Listen, a team is only going to be as good as their weakest link.
Yeah.
You are only going to have your body's going to be only as strong as its weakest link. If you've never worked on your rotator cuffs, I don't care what you believe in.
It's interesting.
That 100-pound press ain't going to get any better, stronger. And two, that 100-pound press is going to go down shortly, slowly until you injure yourself because you're not working the weakest links.
So the answer is do both then.
You got to do both.
Yeah, keep developing your strength. Because
know your weak points,
Know your
but
weak
you
points.
have to develop them slowly alongside. And here's the biggest challenge. You know, if you think you're busy, when you really start to actually apply this stuff, you're going to be even busier because now you're going to be working on developing stuff that you're very good at and the things that you're not so good at. You know what I mean? That's what makes a complete package.
Here's what, like, every time somebody says that to me, I really look at them. I'm like, yo, you actually haven't really tried developing the weaknesses before. Because if you actually did, you realize how those weaknesses could actually turn into your strengths as well.
Yeah.
The only reason why things are your weaknesses is because the strengths are more interesting to you.
Yeah.
But you don't even realize that, yo, these weaknesses, if you uncover the actual real like benefits of them, you actually might like it and it becomes a strength.
So Andy Frizzell, you know, a great entrepreneur in our modern day here, says he set up himself to read for 1 hour every day. Now this guy is worth over $100 million with assets and companies that worth, you know, well more than that. And he says sometimes he's a very naturally slow reader. And he goes, it's very frustrating because sometimes it'll take me 1 hour to read 10 pages.
Yeah.
So do you understand how frustrating that is? Maybe not to you who can blow through 50 pages or 60 pages in an hour, 100 pages an hour. You know, there's Bill Gates who reads 150 pages an hour.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And not only that, but he's processing what he's reading plus what he was reading before that.
Yeah.
Right? Or what he was thinking
He's
before that. He's already exactly
how he could use what he's reading.
But Andy, now when he takes the 1 hour to read 10 pages, he works at it every single day so that the next day it might be 11 pages. Or the challenge might be, how do I properly comprehend these last 10 pages that I just read? But that's definitely not a strength of his, but he works on it.
So he
works on it
to do it.
Yeah, now it's a challenge to him.
Yeah.
How many pages can I do today? How much of that can I retain? How much of that can I actually execute?
Well,
right
there, like Andy's recently he's lost a shitload of weight. He's super
tons.
lean because of his program, right? 75
hard,
which is great. So it's easy to be like, yeah, my weakness is fitness. I'm just really like, I'm all brain and like, I don't need to be physically fit because that's my weakness. And I'm just going to be, I'm going to be a smart leader and not really a physical one because I don't need to do that. Mm-hmm. It's, what do you say when people talk like that?
Then you're not the complete package. You're short of becoming the best that you can be. You're really shy of like, a complete person that you want, because at the end of the day, listen, so here's the difference. There's a lot of physical guys, gym guys, like, I'm just a gym guy, man.
Yeah.
And
it's very true.
It's very true. I'm just a gym guy. But if you're gonna go around and open a business and think that you're just a gym guy, that's not gonna you need to use your brain, a lot of it.
So it's
a hell of a lot more than your physical friggin' power.
So would you agree that, say, a samurai would, if you think about it, a samurai is really a Japanese version of a Renaissance man.
Yeah.
Or woman. Or back then it was just men.
Yeah.
Right? What do you remember what a Renaissance man is? Like, it's a person who's physically fit,
mm-hmm.
who is, great in math and science and stuff like that, and arts as well.
Yeah.
And
they're creative.
These things, so a polymath pretty much, a modern day polymath.
Uh-huh.
A polymath is a person, same thing, who has a great aptitude of sciences, art, math, philosophy.
Yeah, philosophy. Yeah.
Which was huge back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the Industrial Revolution, we were taught to specialize.
Yep.
So instead of just doing all these things, you're just going to be a fitness guy.
Here's a trade.
You're going to be a science guy. You're great at math, so you're just going to do this. You're an engineer.
Yes.
But then this is where, when I was growing up, I kind of felt left out because I was intrigued by everything.
Yes.
Right? I love DJing, but I love fitness. I love art. I did slam poetry.
Yeah.
I was a black belt in judo.
Yeah.
And my entire life, everyone's like, "Oh, you should just stick to one thing. You should stick to one thing." And then I started reading. I'm like, "Holy shit, these things were celebrated back in the day."
Yes, it was for a long time.
It
was
like
it was
that
taught
was
to
the
you.
ultimate person.
If you
If
think-
you were the ultimate person, this is what you need to strive for, because it's the Greeks did that.
The
Like,
schooling
the Romans
system.
did that.
The schooling system gears you towards that.
Yeah.
Well, what's your major?
That's what I'm saying. But that's because
I know.
the Industrial Revolution.
Yes.
It's actually
Stick to
more
a trade.
Systemized.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we need engineers. So
Yeah.
okay, you're going to be an engineer.
I need an electrician here. I need a
Yeah.
plumber here.
Yeah.
Stick to a trade.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, you can be a whole lot of things these days,
Bro,
right?
I'm telling you, you can, and everybody has that ability. Like, you're telling me you haven't had anybody here hasn't had that inclination of like, fuck, like the philosophy just gets into your brain. You wonder about certain things about the universe, or poetry, that something gets
Yeah.
to you, right? When you're listening
Yeah,
to music, you don't like it. You feel a certain way about it.
Well, that's like, you know
what I mean?
Yeah, you have to be very open, like, and open and worldly, like, if I find like the most creative, successful people, or they can listen to any type of music and find beauty in music, like whether it's rap or hip hop or country or classical, they find, like the best artists like Diddy and all them, they appreciate all that. That's where they get all the remixes from.
Yeah.
From other genres, you know what I mean? They can read multiple things, like from biographies to science fiction to this, and those are things that they make a complete person. And it allows you to get more worldly. And why that's important is because you start to understand the race around you, man. Who people are around you, right? You start to actually take a contentment into your every single day, and you start to enjoy life for what it is, as opposed to seeing for what it's not.
And when you have a deeper understanding about a lot of more things, you start actually navigating through the world in a different way.
Yeah, you
have less animosity. You have more understanding. You have more
you
compassion.
take the control.
You
You
take
are
right.
the control.
You're absolutely right, because if a true master in the martial arts could take any strike, it doesn't matter. I could walk down the street and I'm ready, because I've learned it. I've seen scenarios. I could roll with you. I could use your knife against you.
Yes.
Right? I
Yeah.
can use a trash can if I need to kind of take you down. It doesn't matter.
It's like you're wearing a jacket. I could choke you with that
I
jacket.
could choke you with that jacket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why it's very
It's like
important.
resourcefulness.
Yeah, because listen, man, and I always say this, like this, we only live once. Why not fucking understand everything you can about it?
Yeah.
Like, you have to be curious about every single thing. Like, I was so curious about how sound works, how lighting works. Like, this shit,
photography, video.
Yeah,
Cutting a video. Yeah.
and hey, why not use it in our business so I could learn more shit about
Yeah.
it, right? Like, all these things, you have to be, there's and when you get better at learning, so you're a master at learning, you start seeing that there's a pattern for everything.
Yes.
There's no reason.
No.
The difference between noise and music is just there's a certain pattern of
Yeah, there's a
how
pattern.
notes
There's a
are put
process of it.
together.
Yeah. There's a
You get what I
system.
mean?
There's a
But-
process to it.
but
Yeah.
we don't even understand it. I don't even understand why I see a video. I'm like, that looks good.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When you see a kata, why does that look good?
Yeah. Yeah. The combination of all these moves that look like some idiot just down the street doing this crap.
Why?
Why does that look good?
Because there's a flow.
Yes.
Everything, when we love flow, we love symmetry, we love mathematics. The same thing. Mathematics is the same thing. Art is the same thing.
Yep.
The combination of texture and color,
A nice design of a
and
building.
design and,
Yeah.
and shape within an art piece. You don't know why it's great, but it's like, fuck, everyone could agree that's a
But
fucking
because
great
there's a
picture,
systemized,
Right?
configuration of it. There's
right?
an algorithm
a
to it.
mathematician's like, holy shit, that's a beautiful fucking
Algorithm, yeah.
It's a beautiful code. Like,
Yeah,
and,
code,
and
yeah.
I know it's stupid, but it's true. Like, you could see it, because
Yeah, you can see it.
I understand coding in a little bit, but you could understand and appreciate, like, holy shit, that is beautiful.
Yeah.
And it follows the same rules as
Yes,
life, as
yes.
the universe, as everything else.
And that's really what we're talking about today, is if you can master that stuff, and it starts with the small things that we pointed out, from controlling your breath to being able to see things for what they really are each moment, to being unbiased, to seeing the big picture,
Yeah.
right? The ability to zone in and focus when everything around you is distracting you.
That's the biggest
right?
thing, like,
That's a
focus, like,
massive thing.
this-
Focus.
I see everybody just going downhill because of this bullshit that everybody's on their phone and stuff like that, and you start thinking that's the norm. No, it's not. I guarantee you it's not, because the people who aren't on there, who are on there.
They're the
maybe
ones
a little
controlling
bit,
your life.
They're the ones controlling your life because they have the discipline to not go into that shit.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You have
Yes.
to have the discipline to be like, yo, that is not the entire world.
Yeah.
There are people out there who are disciplined, who are working on themselves,
Yeah.
who are focused on other things.
You wanna know
They may be on social media too.
You want to know what's funny? Bill Gates, who created Microsoft, spends most of his time. He reads 15 books a week, as they were saying.
Yeah,
He
that
spends-
Netflix one. Was it Inside the Mind?
Inside
Yeah.
Bill's mind.
Watch that shit.
Watch that
Yeah,
shit.
if you have Netflix,
He does. This guy spends most of his time actually alone,
Yes.
either walking, thinking, and processing on how to apply stuff, how to solve the world's sewage problem, right?
Or energy problem.
Or
You see that
energy
one?
problem.
You see the
Yeah,
third one?
yeah.
Crazy shit.
And or he's busy reading about getting to know something more about the world. Now, this is a guy that pretty much created the platform for social media to exist.
Well, the funny thing is, the interesting part with that is, you know, when you see when you think hardworking entrepreneur, you think like these days, like the cool guy, who's, you know, who's right. This guy fucking works day in and day out, just coding on the computer back in the day.
Yeah.
And he was like the nerdiest looking dude, but he could outwork anybody.
Anybody.
Which
Days.
but he was so passionate about
That's
it.
it.
He loved that shit.
That's it.
You know what I mean? So
And that's what's going to take. It's going to take that same passion in your life to actually strive for your optimal way of living and able to apply this. And again, if you're listening to us and if you've listened to us thus far, I don't see I see you as being the person that actually gives a fuck about your life to do something about it.
So to recap, improve your physical ability, your emotional ability, your intellectual, spiritual, and your deeper understanding of how the world actually works.
Amen to that. Please subscribe to us. To refer
us
us
up.
to somebody. Just hit us up. Give us some comments. Any sort of podcast or topics you want us covered. Where could they find us?
Yeah, just hit us up on Instagram at StrengthenU, StrengthNU. A lot of people have been hitting us up on there, so thank you and thanks for letting us know that you're listening and that you actually love it. I got some people saying, "Yo, I love your podcast, man. It's sick." That's cool. I'm listening. We're seeing all this stuff. And thank you for everybody who's not in Canada. They're
The U.S., California, Arizona, Australia. That's crazy. That's good.
Philippines.
We want you guys to get the most out of this. We do this with a passion. We've been through a lot in our days, and we're still going through it. So
yeah, we're opening a second location soon, so we're gonna be talking a lot of shit about that because that's some next level stuff. We'll talk about that after when it's done.
Not during,
because I don't want to
spoil the plans.
But we'll let you know our adventures soon.
Appreciate y'all.
Cheers.
Boom.